Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. There's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from two important newspapers. The first being the Hindu and the other is the Indian Express. So the most important news and editorial of the day would be discussed in this session. Let's get started with news topic list. Today is 14th of January. The first topic is India's State of Forest Report 2021, which was recently released by the Ministry of Environment and Forest. Second, India extend aid to Sri Lanka. We've seen that the economic crisis has arisen in Sri Lanka. So in light of that, India has extended its aid and support to Sri Lanka. Third, PM held meeting to focus on local containment. Yesterday, there was a meeting that was held between the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister, including the Union Territories, a Lieutenant Governor and Chief Minister, that a process is need to there so that we can have a local containment procedures. Second last, India-UK talks for free trade agreement. We'll see how the FTA between both these countries is going to help. And the last is an editorial, the epidemiologically sound testing strategy, right? So this is an editorial from Hindu. We'll see the detail about this editorial and the new rules and procedures for the testing. Apart from this, at the end of this video, there would be some MCQ based question. These questions would be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. First news, that is India's State of Forest Report 2021. This particular news is important for General Studies Paper 3, that is Conservation, Environmental Pollutions, Degradation and EI, that is Environmental Impact Assessment. So according to the latest India State of Forest report, which was released recently by the Ministry of Environment and Forest, it says that the forest and tree cover in the country has increased by 2,261 kilometers in the last assessment report, which was done in 2019, right? So this is the progress, the positive note in terms of the coverage of the forest. And India's total forest and tree cover is around 80.3 million hectare. So India की जो forest और tree cover है वो almost 80.9 hectare है, which is accounting for almost 24.62% of total geographical area of our country. So this point factually important both for prelims as well as for the mains examination, right? The report says that 17 state and union territories have more than 33% of the area under the forest, right? These 2 points would be again important for the examination point of view. And the report find that almost there has been 1,540 square kilometers of the forest cover and 721 kilometer increase in the tree covers in the last report that was published in 2019 में जो publish की गई थी, right? So we are discussing the detail for 2021. Now, what is India's State of Forest report? ये क्या है? इसको release करती है Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And basically this is a biennial publications of the Forest Survey. यहाँ पे Ministry of Environment Forest इस सारी चीज़ों को technically भी handle करती है और भी कुछ organizations के साथ. So the ISFR assess the forest, the tree cover, the bamboo resources, the carbon shock and the forest fire. Now talking about the performances, कौन-कौन सी state की क्या performance रही है. So in terms of increase in forest cover have been seen in the open forest following the very dense forest. If you talk about top 3 states, I'm precisely talking about the recent report that was published for 2021. In this, Andhra Pradesh stand number 1 in the position with 647 square kilometer, followed by Telangana with 632 square kilometer, then Odisha with 537 square kilometer, right? So these are the top ranker, top performers in this particular editions of the survey. Now talking about the overall status, कौन-कौन सी status है, कौन-कौन सी ऐसे states हैं जिन्होंने अभी तक अपनी status maintain की हुई है forest cover में. So the largest forest cover की अगर बात करें इंडिया में, so the correct answer would be Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh is the state that has largest forest cover, right? And this is followed by Arunachal Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha and Maharashtra. So make sure you do not get confused. if it is always being asked कि कौन सी ऐसी स्टेट है जिसकी सबसे ज़्यादा फॉरेस्ट कवर है, तो द करेक्ट आंसर वुड बी बेसिकली मध्य प्रदेश, फॉलोड बाय अरुणाचल प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़, उड़ीसा एंड महाराष्ट्र. Now top 5 state in terms of forest cover as per the percentage is concerned, जो उनकी टोटल जोग्राफिकल एरिया है उनके हिसाब से प्रोपोर्शनली कितनी एरिया, जोग्राफिकल एरिया जो है वो फॉरेस्ट में जाती है, उसके लिए अलग रैंकिंग है. द फर्स्ट बीइंग मिजोरम विद 84.53% ऑफ द एरिया इज गोइंग टू फॉरेस्ट, followed by Arunachal Pradesh with 79%, Meghalaya with 76%, Manipur with 74%, and Nagaland with 73%. So all these states belong to the northeastern, right? So many a times UPSC tend to confuse you with this type of statements. Make sure your concept is clear and you will able to mark the correct option if it is being asked in the prelims examination. Now, mangrove cover की अगर बात करें, the total mangrove cover in the countries has increased by 17 kilometers, which has reached up to 4,992 square kilometer, right? The total carbon shock की अगर बात करें, where in forest it is estimated that it was around 7,204 ton, and the increase that we have seen is 79.4 million ton from 2019. So the survey used a mid-resolution satellite की use की गई है, where it has followed a rigorous round truthing and information from the other sources. So all the data that is done is being technologically backed, and the data that is being released from the government is credible because the sources has been used was a mid-resolution satellite data. The other news, that is India extend aid to Sri Lanka. We have seen the economic crisis almost arises in Sri Lanka, and it can lead to many other consequential negative effect. So this particular news is important for General Studies Paper 2, India and its neighborhood relation. So what is more important in this particular news, that India has recently confirmed that a $400 million currency swap agreement would be done with Sri Lanka. I think most of you must be aware of currency swap. This is a basic economical concept which you must know, may be important for the prelims, right? It also include जो ये खास करके जो इस बार 400 मिलियन टन की करेंसी स्वैप दी गई है, उसमें एक डिफरमेंट पेमेंट भी लिखी गई है $500 million के लिए. It would be paid further. So the total corpus that India would be providing in a nutshell would be around 900, right? So ये जो total corpus देगी इंडिया श्रीलंका को वो होगी $900 million, right? So it is, the move is aimed to helping the island nation, that is Sri Lanka, to witness the unprecedented economic crisis that has arisen in this country, right? And in July 2020, RBI ने भी अपनी करेंसी स्वैप फैसिलिटीज को बढ़ाया था. दिस इज 400 मिलियन टू श्रीलंका, ताकि जो वहाँ पे फर्स्ट वेव ऑफ कोविड-19 में जो इकोनॉमिक रिपरकशन हुई थी, उस टाइम पे भी इंडिया ने 400 मिलियन दिए हुए थे, राइट? सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द एड दैट वाज गिवन टू द आइसलैंड नेशन ऑफ श्रीलंका टू बीट द प्रॉब्लम दैट दे हैव सीन, राइट? और सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे ये है कि जो डेट है श्रीलंका में वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा बढ़ गई है, बिकॉज दे हैव बोरोड मेनी लॉट डेट फ्रॉम चाइना, राइट? सो विल अंडरस्टैंड दैट ऑल्सो व्हाट इज अ प्रॉब्लम. रिक्वेस्ट फ्रॉम श्रीलंका दैट वाज मेड टू इंडिया. बेसिकली जो असिस्टेंस है वो इंडिया ने तब दी व्हेन द फॉरेन मिनिस्टर ऑफ श्रीलंका हैज़ रिक्वेस्टेड इंडिया फॉर एन इमरजेंसी फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंस. ये बात की गई थी और लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट देने की बात की गई थी फॉर इम्पोर्टिंग द एसेंशियल करेंसी स्वैप टू बूस्ट श्रीलंका, जो वहाँ की ड्रेनिंग फॉरेन रिजर्व है उसको बूस्ट करने के लिए, और ताकि इस तरह के प्रोसीजर्स रखे जाएं जहाँ की वहाँ पे उनके फॉरेन रिजर्व भी मेंटेन हो. सो इंडिया हैज़ एक्सटेंडेड इज बेस्ट पॉसिबल वे, और उन्होंने अपने पॉजिटिव जेस्चर्स दिखाते हुए श्रीलंका को हेल्प की. Now Sri इज फेसिंग अ सीवियर डॉलर क्रंच, where economists are of the opinion that it may lead to external debt and create food shortage and import resilient nations, right? So the problem here is that definitely China is helping Sri Lanka, but the point is that the money that was given to Sri Lanka was not adequately being used, and the reason being they are being hastily in a debt trap, which has to be repaid to China and many other multilateral organizations, right? Now, talking about Sri Lanka foreign debt, actually what has happened that Sri Lanka is in debt. They have borrowed a lot more money from China, right? और चाइना ने काफ़ी ज़्यादा ह्यूज पेमेंट की हुई है श्रीलंका को. वो एक बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम भी हो रही है अब श्रीलंका के लिए. बट द स्टेटमेंट कमिंग फ्रॉम द सेंट्रल बैंक ऑफ श्रीलंका दैट दे हैव एक्सप्रेस कॉन्फिडेंस इन पेइंग द फॉरेन डेट, और वहाँ के जो गवर्नर हैं सेंट्रल बैंक के, दे सेड जो बेल आउट उनको पे करनी है, दे वुड बी पेइंग देम शुड, बिकॉज वो एडिशनल लोन ले रहे हैं चाइना से वापस, वेयर 500 मिलियन लोन वुड बी प्रोवाइडेड एंड एडिशनल 1.5 billion currency swap would be extended by Chinese, right? So see what China is doing. China is supporting Sri Lanka to a larger extent, right? और जितनी ज़्यादा अमाउंट जा रही है, अगर श्रीलंका उसको वापस पे नहीं कर पाता तो उसके जो इंटरेस्ट है वो बढ़ते रहेंगे, राइट? और वो अगेन जो पूरी डेट ट्रैप्ड है उसमें फंसता रहेगा श्रीलंका. सो इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट that the amount should not be borrowed and extension should not be given. अगर exemptions मिलती है तो फिर ठीक है, नहीं तो फिर रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट अगर बढ़ेगी तो फिर श्रीलंका के लिए और काफ़ी ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी. उनके जो फॉरेन एक्सचेकर्स है, जो फॉरेन रिजर्व्स है, वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा कम हो सकते हैं. सो द इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस, द एक्सपर्ट ऑफ द ओपिनियन, इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस श्रीलंका में स्टार्ट हो चुकी है एंड इट कैन लीड टू अ लॉट मोर प्रॉब्लम, जहाँ पे इन्फ्लेशन और फूड स्कैर्सिटी भी हो सकती है, राइट? सो यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड why the situation has arisen, because of the infrastructure and other sort of development that is taking place by China has invariably helped Sri Lanka to some extent, but जो amount actually दिए गए थे श्रीलंका को चाइना की तरफ से, उनकी बहुत हद तक यूटिलाइजेशन नहीं की गई और वो अभी श्रीलंका लॉस में है पूरी तरह से, राइट? सो वी हैव डिस्कस दिस न्यूज़ येस्टरडे ऑल्सो. आप इसके कुछ जो वैलिड पॉइंट्स है वो नोट कर ले. दिस माइट बी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द मेंस एग्जामिनेशन. Now moving to the other news, that is Prime Minister held meeting to focus on local containment. A meeting that was scheduled yesterday only, where he has met with the Chief Minister of the state and union territories. This particular news is important for General Studies Paper 2, Government Policies and Intervention for the Development of Various Sectors and Issues Arising from it. So recently the Prime Minister had chaired a meeting with the Chief Minister of several states and Lieutenant Governor of all the union territories. Why this meeting was scheduled? To review the health preparedness and to tackle with the problem that is arising in terms of the new variant, that is the Omicron variant की जो cases surge हो रही हैं, उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए, और जो national vaccination की progress है, India already had given single dose to 150 crore population. ये जो total numbers है, ये बहुत हद तक speed process हुई है compared to any other countries. But again, we have the first and foremost priority for India and all the state, स्पेसिफिकली स्टेट एंड यूटीक्स की अगर बात करें तो वहाँ पे ये होगी कि जो वेरिएंट है ओमिक्रॉन, उसके इन्फेक्शंस को रोका जा सके. सो caution and preparedness, that is what being discussed. So the Prime Minister has said that safeguarding the economy and the livelihood of the common people would be pivotal. This is the most vital strategy that the state government and the union territories need to adopt. What Prime Minister also said that irrespective of variant, vaccination has to be the most potent tool, और हमें अपने vaccinations को पेस को बहुत higher side में रखना है, so that at least double dose should be given to the mass population, right? And addressing the meeting, the Prime Minister has noted that the virus डिफर्ड जो वायरस है, खास करके उसने बहुत हद तक इंडिया में जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं उसको राइज की थी. सेकेंड वेव के बाद भी प्रॉब्लम बहुत ज़्यादा हुई है. दिस इज कंसिडर्ड टू बी द थर्ड वेव, बट द कंट्री नीड टू कीप इट रेडीनेस इन टर्म्स ऑफ एरी. कोई भी वेरिएंट अगर इंडिया में आती है, इसके बावजूद दिस इज ओमिक्रॉन, if any future pandemic arises, we have to be prepared for that particular thing. The health infrastructure need to be built robustly. So infrastructure expansion की बात की गई है. The Prime Minister has forces and focuses upon keeping expanding the medical infrastructure, जहाँ पे स्टेट को एक अलग से डेडिकेटेड फंड दी गई है for 23,000 crore rupees. That was to revamp the infrastructure. Under this move, 800 pediatric units बनाने की बात की गई. This unit specifically is meant for child. Pediatrics is a department which deal with children's, right? 1.5 lakh ICU बनाने की बात की गई है, HDU बनाने की बात की गई, even 5,000 special ambulance and 950 liquid medical oxygen storing tank capacity that was being ordered by the central government to all the state to ensure that we have a good infrastructure, a health infrastructure that is going to sustain the pandemic problem that has arisen across the country, right? Now, vaccine coverage, as I've told you, is the vital and most important thing. Even the globally doctors, Dr. Fauci from US and FDA, they have already suggested that vaccine is something which is very important, right? तो इंडिया की अगर बात करें, जो इंडिया की इंडिजिनस डेवलप्ड वैक्सीन्स हैं, दैट प्रोवाइडिंग मोर सुपैरिटी कंपेयर टू एनी अदर वैक्सीन दैट इज बीइंग प्रोड्यूस्ड इन द वर्ल्ड. एंड India has a country that has first dose about 92% of the adult population. जो हमारे adult population है, उसमें 92% adult की already vaccination हो चुकी है. The coverage of the second dose has also reached up to 70%. This is what the data coming from the government itself. And there is also a need to intensify Har Ghar Dastak campaign, which call for 100% vaccination, right? So this is an initiative which is definitely helping for the enrollment of the vaccine to the people who were actually not taking the vaccine, right? तो ये काफ़ी अवेयरनेस वाली कैंपेन है जहाँ पे आशा वर्कर और सारे वर्कर्स इनरोल्ड हैं ताकि वैक्सीनेशन की कवरेज को बढ़ाई जा सके. Now, the other news, that is India UK talks for free trade agreement. This particular news is important for General Studies Paper 2, bilateral regional grouping and agreement evolving India's and affecting India's interest. So, what India and UK have decided, they have decided to kick off the ambitious जो comprehensive free trade agreement है FTA, ये काफ़ी ambitious FTA है जो कि दोनों countries को help करेगी. And the negotiation is expected to be completed by the year end, right? So the process has just started and the other formalities would be done, and we can expect that at the year end all the FTAs would be functional between India and United Kingdom. So India stand to gain from this. एक multi-dimensional economic partnership की जाएगी where the growth can be seen in the leather sector, textile, jewelries and process of agriculture products. The negotiation would also cover the goods and services between both countries, और ये sources के हिसाब से पता चला है that bilateral trade of these two countries, which is around 50 billion, is expected to double, that is by $100 billion in 10 years. So these are the expert opinion in terms of the growth that we can see between India and United Kingdom. So what is the market potential? If you talk about market potential, दोनों कंट्री के बीच में अगर बात करें कितनी हद तक ट्रेड हो सकती है, so by 2050 the anticipation, the deadline is for 2050 that India is the world third largest economy with a middle class almost reaching up to 250 billion shoppers. तो इतनी मार्केट क्राउड है जो कि कंट्री एक्सेस कर सकती है यहाँ के पॉपुलेशन पे. And the deal has a potential that almost the double UK to the export to India, और यहाँ खास करके ये जो ट्रेड है by 2035 it can reach up to 28 euro billion dollars, right? So 28 euro billion तक ये आगे पहुँच सकती है. And investment from Indian company has already supported almost 95,000 jobs across UK. So the people, the investment that is being done by the Indian companies in UK has also helped to get a job in UK, right? तो वहाँ के लोगों को भी बहुत हद तक jobs मिली है. Apart from India, UK is also being mutually benefited from these initiatives. And this is for the first major negotiation between the UK that was held since the exit of UK from the Brexit, right? So this is something important and we always look forward, the country India look forward that इस तरह के जो FTA हैं वो दोनों countries को mutually benefit करने चाहिए. Now the other news, this is an editorial. This was reported in the Hindu, and epidemiologically sound testing strategy. So this particular news is important for General Studies paper 2, that is issues related to development and management of health. So what is under this editorial? There's some important aspect I'll be discussing under 4 subhead. The first being the strategy that is in sync with the stages. Omicron variant, the new variant, which is also considered to be the variant of concern by WHO. Testing and purposes and the way forward. So let's understand this editorial in detail. Recently, जो इंडियन काउंसिल ऑफ मेडिकल रिसर्च है, जो ICMR है, उन्होंने अपनी एक एडवाइजरी रिलीज की है. दिस इज एडवाइजरी विद रिगार्ड्स टू द purpose of testing of the COVID-19 in India, right? So every time there's a change in the strategy policy, basically in the testing policy, how it need to be conducted. So latest COVID-19 की जो advisory, it has shifted from the pandemic response to the treatment oriented. Now the focus is more on treatment part and also towards the public health, right? The advisory provide a detail like who may be किनको टेस्ट करने की जरूरत है and who are the people who need to be tested, because testing facilities इंडिया के पास enhance हुई है, but we need to go this in the right track so that we can identify the right number of people, right? So it purposes or it poses that asymptomatics to individual है in community testing, और जो contract tracing हो रही है confirmed cases of COVID-19 unless identified or the high risk should not be tested. This is what the latest rules, or you can say the guideline, has been tabled by the ICMR. Now strategies की अगर बात करें, that has been synced with the stages. So we have seen that the novel coronavirus which has actually started, the new strategy was to every country, not for India, हर एक country ने जो कॉन्टैक्ट ट्रेसिंग है या फिर जो कंटेनमेंट स्ट्रैटेजी है उस पर ध्यान दी थी, ताकि जो कम्युनिटी ट्रांसमिशन है उसको रोका जा सके, राइट. एंड दिस रिक्वायर द रिग्रेसिव टेस्टिंग वेयर द पॉइंट was that the authorities wanted कि जो हर एक इन्फेक्शन है उनको ट्रैक किया जाए और टेस्ट किया जाए. This was the initial level of testing, or you can see the methodology that was followed by entire country. पहले ये होती थी, अगर किसी एक को इन्फेक्शन है उसको ट्रैक की जाती थी, उसने कितने लोगों से मिला है वो चेक करनी होती है, and then everyone has to be tested. This is what the procedure was followed. Now, India, following this approach, has ramped up the COVID testing facility. We have nearly 3100 लेबोरेटरीज एज ऑफ नाउ. उस समय लेबोरेटरीज भी कम थी, उसकी कैपेसिटी को बढ़ा दी गई, और इंडिया अब हर एक दिन में 2 मिलियन RT-PCR टेस्ट की कैपेबिलिटीज भी रखता है. सो वी नीड टू यूज दिस इन राइट डायरेक्शन एंड ऑप्टिमाइज द लेवल ऑफ एक्सपर्टीज दैट वी हैव. Overall, during the month, we have seen that the additional testing and approaches, चाहे वो किट्स की बात हो, RAT, that is rapid antigen test हो, या फिर RT-PCR है, everything has improved and many things are being done in India only, right? We do not need any foreign collaboration for this test. We are self-sufficient in terms of testing. Now the new variant, which is again a concern, this is considered to be the variant of concern by WHO. यहाँ पे basically जो बातें ध्यान देने की है, that the emergence of Omicron variant is a variant of concern and it has changed the situation drastically, because this is 3 to 4 times higher and more transmissible compared to the Delta variant which we have seen, right? So बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो still is asymptomatic. We cannot find whether that particular individual is infected or not, and the fact is that he can transmit to a lot more people because the transmissibility is 3 to 4 times higher. Now countries are revising the testing strategies, जहाँ पे कोशिश की जा रही है कि RAT यूज किया जाए, that is rapid antigen test यूज की जाए, and even the home testing kit that was developed by laboratories in India, that should be used so that each and everyone should come to know whether they are symptomatic, whether they are carrying any virus or infection or not. So the approach for this is that public health tools need to have a contact tracing, isolations हो, और अगर कोई इंडिविजुअल ऐसी इन्फेक्शन में आते हैं तो उसको क्वारंटीन करने की जरूरत है. दिस इज द बेस्ट रिव्यूड एंड रिवाइज्ड वर्जन which was being released by the ICMR, right? And we as a citizen of this country, अगर आपको भी किसी एक इंडिविजुअल को ऐसी प्रॉब्लम होती है, you're getting the symptoms, you should test yourself because the test is not that tough, right? Home testing kits हैं, आप एक इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे टेस्ट कर सकते हैं. If you find yourself that you are infected, you can isolate yourself, you can quarantine yourself. That is the best way as a citizen of this country, following the fundamental duties. This is our duty, that we should not infect any other people, and we should be in isolation, where until and unless for 7 days, if the things are normal, then only we can reach out to the market, right? Testing with a purpose, एक purpose की जरूरत है. Diagnostic testing की अगर बात करें, especially in the breakout epidemics and pandemics, has led to the 2 broad objectives. क्या क्या objective है? First, that individual level पे testing होनी चाहिए, और जो public health facilities है, that need to extend so that we can track the exact number of people, right? Therefore, asymptomatic people या फिर जो milder symptoms के लोग हैं, उनके बारे में भी पता होना काफी जरूरी है. Secondly, the testing of asymptomatic cases in public health is benefiting to reduce the transmission, right? So once an individual come to fact that he is infected, he can isolate himself, and this can reduce the chances of not affecting other peoples. However, the Omicron is neither feasible nor any system is required, for transmission is already widespread as major cases are asymptomatic. बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं, उनको खुद ही नहीं पता है कि वो already infected है, उन्होंने दूसरे लोगों को already infection pass कर रखी है. So this is a problem. We have seen the cases has almost reached to 1.64 lakh. Even it can go up to 2 lakhs. और ये expert का कहना है कि ये 4 lakhs तक cases per day जा सकते हैं, because people are actually not aware and they're infecting a lot more other people. So number wise, it would be increasing, but the severity is less compared to the Delta variant. Now, what is the way forward? Finally, the argument is that the testing should be ramped up and it should be better than the data that is on the weak footing. And the data collection of the byproduct of the public health intervention is very important. The public health tool need to be suitably modified and it need to be calibrated at every stage of the pandemic, right? Almost this can be said that this is the 3rd stage of the pandemic. Even you could say the 3rd जो wave आई है, 3rd wave मानी जा सकती है. But again, if any new variant arises, we have to be rest assured that these are the procedures that need to be followed adequately at every level. And India's latest advisory of the COVID-19 is bold, pragmatic and epidemiologically sound. नाउ ये दूसरी अपॉर्चुनिटी होगी कि हमारे पास जो डेटा है, जो साइंसेस हैं, जो डिबेट है, डायलॉग है, एविडेंसेस हैं, दैट नीड टू शेप इंडिया इन राइट डायरेक्शन and even give it a roadmap in terms of testing and other facilities which can help for many other generations to come, that these were the procedures that was followed to contain this virus, right? So this is how the way forward has to be written, and if you write this in examination. And more importantly, the protocol, even the procedures of the mask and the social distancing would be inevitable in this pandemic where virus is playing a very crucial role, right? So the etiquettes that government has provided in terms of protocol need to be adequately followed. Now, just to tell you about the courses that we have, prelims test series for you, 60 high quality tests, which will be availing with the IS gazetted subscription at an affordable price. You can check the description section of this video. You will find a dedicated link from where you can directly purchase this course. Now, moving to the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday's question. For first question, the correct option is C. For second question also, the correct option is C. Today's MCQ, consider the following statement about Malabar exercise. It is an annual trilateral Navy exercise between India, Japan and US. The exercise is held attentively between Indian and Pacific Ocean. Right? So what you have to do, you have to choose the correct option and write that in the comment sections, or even if you do not write, you just practice yourself. और जितने भी इस तरह के एक्सरसाइज हैं उसके बारे में आप जरूर प्रैक्टिस कर ले, बिकॉज दिस वुड बी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द एग्जामिनेशन. Second question for practice, which you can do at your home. Gender inequality index is released by which among the following? Index is something which is important, although पिछले 1-2 साल से UPSC question पूछ नहीं रही है, but it can ask you anytime, right? So be prepared that they can ask you. So आपको बताना है gender inequality index कौन रिलीज करती है? वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम, UNDP, Save the Children और Transparency International, right? So this was the question for practice for you. And this was all about the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.